On behalf of the Ostrower family, I would like to thank the York County Soccer Hall of Fame Board for recognizing Bryan's contributions to soccer in York County. I'd like to recognize the other members of the Ostrower family that are here tonight. In addition to Allison, Evan, Colin, and Hope Lynn, Bryan's father, Larry, is here. Bryan's brother, Stephen, along with his wife, and Allison's parents have joined us tonight as well, if you want to give them a round of applause. I want to thank Allison for asking me to speak on behalf of the family tonight. I think you did this because you thought it would be easier for me than it would be for you. But let's address that again in about 10 minutes, okay? In our lives, we all wonder how we're going to be remembered. A good father, husband, brother, son, friend, maybe a good soccer player, or a good referee. Bryan was all of those things and more. As Michael said, Bryan's soccer lineage dated back to the old Rock Hill Soccer Club and graduating from Northwestern High School, playing in Erskine before graduating from Winthrop in 2002. I came to Rock Hill in 2003 for school at Winthrop and met Bryan in late 2005 when he first became a referee. Sometimes you say that something seems natural to someone, but Bryan was 100% naturally a referee. It certainly helped that he had a tall, slender figure and could run like a gazelle. It certainly helped. With the assistance of Sam Tucker, a 2019 inductee who couldn't be here tonight, and Bryan, they both helped push me to not only become a better referee, but a much healthier version of myself. And for anyone that knew me in 2003, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I say Bryan helped push me, I mean it both literally and figuratively. When we would do our fitness tests together, which were running around a track for 12 minutes, Bryan would ultimately lap me, and once he knew he hit his benchmark, he would ensure that I passed mine as well, with literally a hand on my back, pushing me to the finish line, and frankly keeping me from wanting to go to the middle of the track and just pass out. 2009 was a big year in Bryan's officiating career. In April, as Michael said, he completed his upgrade to a U.S. Soccer Grade 7 at an adult tournament in Sumter. In May, he blew the whistle on the 2A Boys High School State Championship. That summer, he got into college officiating, and in December of that year, he blew the whistle on a U19 state championship game for the youth. As I was going back through all of Bryan's accomplishments, it's funny how each one of those came with their own weird memory of each of them. The tournament that we went to in Sumter, I drove, got a speeding ticket on the way down there. After Bryan passed his assessment, I had my opportunity. Thankfully passed, but did so with full-on leg cramps. And normally you wouldn't think that's a bad thing, except I drove a stick shift at that point. And so getting back to the hotel was going to be tough. I looked at Bryan. He said, I haven't done it in a while, but I think I can do it. It might have been the longest 2-mile drive I've ever been a part of, but we made it no problem. At the state championship a month later, the memory there is the horrendous bar that our fourth official took us to after the game. I think we stayed there for about 30 seconds and walked out because it was a bit scary. That summer, Bryan, myself, and Stephen Dye, who couldn't be here tonight, met Jeff Musick. Or he was sitting over there. Where'd you go, Jeff? I don't know where he went. Oh, okay. Met Jeff Musick at Beef O'Brady's in Rock Hill to discuss the expectations for becoming a college referee. No big weird story about that, but it's one of those things where you remember where you were when this happened. When things like these are happening, we don't always take the time to really soak it in and be appreciative. Valentine's Day weekend of 2010, Bryan and the family went to Myrtle Beach for him to run a marathon. You'd think Myrtle Beach in February, 80 degrees, should be perfect. Nope, snow, ice, they canceled the marathon. Bryan, who had been training for this for a long time, decided that he was going to go out and run the course himself anyway. And he did. When he came back, he collapsed while in the shower. Stephen Dye was the one who called me and gave me the news of Bryan's diagnosis. And unfortunately, the news did not get better over the coming months. Bryan continually had chemotherapy treatments and went to the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center. Yes, I've had to work very hard to get that all the way out. On multiple occasions at Duke in Raleigh to have experimental treatments. In May of 2010, while still doing this, he made the trek down to Columbia for the state finals. He did this because Stephen Dye had the whistle that year. He wanted to be there to support Stephen because Stephen was on his line the year before. That was Bryan's officiating family, and Stephen was a lifelong friend, and he wanted to support him and the rest of the crew. Bryan's passing in 2011 was a huge blow to the soccer refereeing community in Rock Hill. After informing our Rock Hill officials of his passing, the flood of responses that I got and stories and memories that people had of him were tremendous. I was never able to bring myself to remove Bryan's name out of my assigning system, and to this day, his name and his account are still active in there. Those of us in the Rock Hill Referee Association were searching for a way to memorialize his name and his memory. So when Neil Wellborn called me in 2013 with the idea of naming a Northwestern high school soccer tournament after him, I was ready to jump through any hoop to make it happen. We launched the first tournament in 2014, and that year Allison provided us gray wristbands, which is the color of brain cancer. There aren't many of us that officiated that first year that are still working, but I still have mine. Allison still has hers today, and I wear it every tournament. Each year when we have this tournament, I send an email to all of the officials working, reminding them of what they're doing this for, and it's always a special moment for me as I teach new years of officials about who Bryan was and why we do it. The tournament acts as a fundraiser to donate money to the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center. At the 2020 tournament at District 3 Stadium, which I really can't believe was 18 months already ago, the announcement was made that Bryan would be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Myself and Allison both knew that the announcement was going to be made, but the rest of the family did not. And seeing the reaction and their emotion to that announcement being made was truly memorable. As we prepare for the 9th iteration of the tournament this February, I want to thank the Ostrower family for embracing me. Prior to his passing, I don't know that you really realize what Bryan meant to me and how much he helped me, but I hope you do now. And I'm happy that we can continue to honor him year in and year out. In closing, Bryan, we love you, we miss you, and I am so happy that we can do yet one more thing to remember you. Thank you.